Hi everybody, I'm Ted Owens and this is Truckee Talks. Tonight's episode is going to cover the upcoming Truckee Rodeo. So why don't you grab something cold to drink and we'll be back in just 1 minute. Hi everybody and welcome back. I'm Ted Owens. I'm your guest host this evening, and we'll be joined also by Maya Schneider back in the studio with some of our honored guests from the Truckee Horsemen's Association. Right now we're out here at the McIver Rodeo grounds, and I'll ask Jack to pan the arena. I'll give you a little bit of history about what happened here and how this came to be. Originally, this property was owned by Jim and Victoria McIvers. It served as the town dump at one time. And it was donated at some point, I believe in the mid to late 60s, to the Parks and Rec for the purpose of being used as a rodeo grounds. And I think we have some guests that could probably shed some more light on that. The original arena was built in the late 60s, early 70s, and it has been greatly improved through the years. Right now we see some folks that are getting ready to practice, so I think we'll take this opportunity and we'll send it back to Maya and she can introduce our guests for the evening.
Well, thanks for that, Ted. We are in the studio now. I'm Maya Schneider, and I'd like to introduce our guests for today's show. We have Kathy McEnany.
Yes.
Very nice to have you here on the
Nice to
show.
be here. Thank you.
And Kathy is the chair of this year's rodeo. We also have Carol and Rusty Pauley. It's great to have you here. I've been waiting 5 years to get you guys up here on the stage and looking forward to torturing you for the next 14 minutes or so.
Thank you. Good to be here.
But it is nice to have all of you here. Kathy, there must be a lot to do to be the chair of the rodeo.
Yes, there's quite a bit. We have a lot of help from the group committee that we have, and a lot of help.
How many people do you have on the rodeo committee?
We have roughly 25 or 30.
Yeah. It takes that kind of people
Really,
power.
we could use more. We could use more.
Well, no, there's a plug. So, And how long have you been chair?
2 years. This is my second year. This is my last year as chair. And then I'll step down and help the next chairperson.
Right, so you never really get to pull all the way away.
No, I don't think you really want to pull all the way away.
Good.
We enjoy it.
Good, great. Carol, nice to have you on the show.
Thank you.
How long have you been working on rodeo?
Since 1989.
Here in Truckee?
Yes, here.
And how did you get involved?
I don't really recall, but I just started going to the meetings and getting involved and doing whatever was needed to be done.
And this year, what are you in charge of?
I'm the director for the non-PRCA events for the rodeo.
And PRCA
It's
is?
the Professional Rodeo Cowboys Association.
Okay. So that puts you in charge of events that aren't specifically rodeo?
Exactly.
Okay. What would that
Exactly.
be? What kind of events?
Oh, like during the year, all the parades that we go to and some fundraising events, and then during the rodeo itself, I coordinate usage of some people like the Painted Ladies who are doing a program while everyone's getting seated, and then I'm in charge of the grand entry and a few other little things that just kind of pick up along the way.
Oh, I'm sure it's just a side job.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, do it in my spare time.
This is a big event. A lot of people attend the rodeo. How many people do you think you'll expect to see this year?
Jeez.
Between the 2 days, 6,000 or 7,000.
6,000 or 7,000. That's a good number.
I know I'm getting calls at home from Germany. My husband said, somebody called from Germany today to check and see when it
Sprechen Sie
was.
Deutsch? Well, Rusty, the first time I ever met you, it had something to do with horses. I think it was around the 4th of July parade. So I've always sort of associated you with horses here in Truckee. How long have you been involved with the rodeo?
Well, about 8 years. I think 92 is when I really got involved in this rodeo. I had some experience in rodeo prior to that, but Truckee Rodeo about 1992.
And what are you doing this year? What are you in charge of?
Well, the last 3 or 4 years, I've been just basically in charge of the Friday night sponsored team penning. We have a sponsor party and barbecue for all the people that have bought sponsorships from us, and then we put them on horses and let them go out and chase cattle around for a couple of minutes out in the arena, and hopefully they have a good time.
Remind me never to sign up for that.
We'd love to have you this
Yes,
year. So we've got a team for you if you'd like.
Yes.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the Truckee Rodeo. I remember when I first moved here being excited that there was still a rodeo around, and it's good to know that as much as our town has grown, that's an event that still occurs. Can any of you tell me how long it's been around in Truckee?
This is our 26th anniversary
Wow.
this year.
Wow. That says something. And the event now runs for 2 days or 3?
2.
And the dates
It's
are?
well, it's 3 days. We like to count our sponsors. Actually, 4. Excuse me. We like to count. We have a Children's Day on Thursday, which is free to all kids.
And the date for that?
Is the 10th.
Oh, August 10th.
August 10th.
Okay.
It starts at 10 in the morning and it starts winding down around 2
Okay.
in the afternoon. And then Friday night, like Rusty said, we have our sponsors night where we have team pinning and we have a dinner for our sponsors, appreciation dinner that we do. And then Saturday, we have a rodeo performance at 4 o'clock it starts, and then Sunday at 1 o'clock.
So again, the rodeo, the primary events, the big events will be Saturday and Sunday,
Yes.
August 12th and 13th.
Yes.
And we'll bring that up a couple of times, just in case people don't hear it the first time around. Isn't there usually a dance? Am I missing something here?
Saturday night is the junior horsemen, Truckee Donner junior horsemen hold their barbecue and dance, and that's immediately following the Saturday performance. Usually it starts about 7:30 or something like that, and they have a steak barbecue and then Western dance afterwards, and it's quite a party.
Is that open to the public?
Yes.
Okay.
And it's actually one of the biggest fundraisers that the juniors have. So they really count a lot on having a good crowd for that event.
So come on out and eat
Yeah.
steak and dance
Exactly.
and
Yes.
have a heck of a good time.
Oh, yes.
And we also invite people to come out and watch the team penning. It's like a nominal fee to get in, but watching the team penning is open to the public also.
Well, we're going to talk in the next segment about what the heck team penning is, and then you'll be able to educate me and anybody else who's watching who doesn't know. But let's talk a little bit about some of the other entertainment that's going on over those 2 days. What can people expect to see when they go out to the rodeo?
Well, we start with the grand entry each day at the performance, and that's local people on the horses and carrying the sponsor flags, and they ride around the arena, and then we have what they call the Painted Ladies, another equestrian group that comes through, and they do a great job. Then the rodeo performance itself, it has a boot race for the kids in the middle of the performance, and rodeo clowns, and there's something for everyone in the rodeo.
It sounds like it.
You bet.
And what time of day does it start? What time should folks get out there?
Saturday performance starts at 4, and the Sunday performance at 1.
Okay, all right. Now, the rodeo's been going on for quite some time. Do you have a lot of the same people working on the campaign or on the committee, or?
Yes, we do.
Uh-huh.
We do. But we would love to have new people come and help us.
And help out?
Yes, we would.
And if people want to help out, who should they call? Great. And I'm sure there are a lot of people who move to Truckee and aren't even aware that we still have rodeo and that kind of event. Rusty, you were talking a little bit ago about the grand entry, and I believe we have a video for that, and perhaps we can take a look at that video now, and you can walk us through it. I understand this is a practice, so walk us through it here.
It
What
is.
is this what the grand entry will look like?
Well, no, not exactly. We're a little rough here because it's a practice. I think it's our first practice that we had with flags, which is pretty challenging if your horse won't deal with a flag, or if somebody's horse next to you won't deal with a flag. It's kind of frightening. That flag for sure is going to eat whatever horse is around. But like this last week's practice looked really good. It was real tight. They're bringing in the flags, and it's our first real good, solid presentation of our sponsor flags, who are so important to us.
So the flags you're carrying are the flags for your
Are the
sponsors.
sponsors,
Oh, what a
yes.
great idea.
And then at that time also, we present the Grand Marshal, who this year is Doc Donnelly, who's retiring from his practice here in town, and so his whole family will be here and be honored as part of the rodeo.
Oh, what a hoot.
And
Yeah.
Dr. Donnelly was part of the original committee that built the McIver Arena and worked on it.
Is that right? Well, can you tell us something about the arena, Rusty? How long has it been around?
Well, the arena was originally built, I believe, around 26, 27 years ago, and by locals. Walt Sitry was heavily involved. The Knudsens, Rudy and Ann Knudsen, Doc Donnelly,
Doc
Les
Weiser.
Hadley.
Doc Weiser.
Yeah, a number of
His
people
wife.
were, and it was a community event, and they did a lot of work to construct the actual arena itself, and the bank side where the lawn is now is originally some huge boulders under there were placed and then covered with dirt, and the logs were originally put there, and then we covered that with grass about 5 years ago and sodded it and built the retaining wall on that side, and that's why it's now a grass slope instead of just logs.
Yeah, that whole area is beautiful now. It's a great
Yeah.
place to have a picnic and watch events going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, every year we add something to the arena. You know, doing the block wall was a major, major effort by lots of people, and the grass happened at the same time. And
Well, while we're speaking of barbecues, let me just ask real quickly, you do have the fundraising barbecue Saturday night. During the day, during the rodeo, should people expect to have food there, or should they bring food, or
There will be food.
there's food available?
Yeah, food isn't allowed to be brought in. There are a number of
Right.
local concessionaires and nonprofit organizations that will have food booths there, along with the rodeo, beer booths, Coke, everything you need.
It's a great event, great food will be there.
Yes.
Just come on out and be prepared to have a fun day.
You bet.
Yes.
Okay, well, it sounds great. Thank you for being with us. We're going to take a break now, and we'll come back in just a minute. When we come back, we'll have local attorney and cowboy Pete Katita, and we'll also have Ted interviewing this year's rodeo queen, so stay tuned. We'll be back in just a minute.
Here we go. Sure feels real good sitting with you way up here. When you whisper in my ear, sure feels real good. Sure feels so right staying with you all night long. Ain't no way to get it wrong. It sure feels so right. It happened for a reason. It happened by design.
Welcome back to the show. I'm Maya Schneider, and we're talking about the Truckee Championship Rodeo. And in this segment, I'd like to introduce our new guest, Pete Katita. Pete,
do you do?
Nice to have you on the show.
Thank you very much.
You know, Pete, you came in with all this gear. We've got this beautiful saddle in front of me. Tell me about this.
Your director insisted that I bring this.
She's like that.
This is a saddle that I made this winter.
You made this saddle?
Yep.
With your hands?
Yes.
That is amazing. Do you, what kind of leather crafting do you do, and how did you get into that?
I've always done a little bit of it, and as the years passed, it got a little more complicated. I made the chaps that are hanging off the saddle for my wife for her Christmas present last year. And
Some women get blenders.
some women get chaps.
It's a wonderful world.
Pretty amazing, huh?
How long does it take to make a saddle like this?
I started in February, and it was finished the second week of May,
And are you participating in this year's rodeo?
just in the team penning.
In the team, all right, that's it. I've had it. We've been talking about team penning. Guys, Kathy, Rusty, help me out. What is team penning?
Well, like I said, it's for the sponsors, and we put 3 head of cattle in a chute and put 4 people out there on a horseback and let the cattle out of the chute, and those 4 people go down to the other end of the arena, gather them up, bring them down to the opposite end of the arena, and there's a pen with an open gate. And their job is to herd those 3 head into that open gate into the pen. And when they do, they get a time. They got 2 minutes to do it.
And this is something that people volunteer to do.
Oh, yeah, yeah. It originally started to get the sponsors involved. They all like to get on horses and chase cows around a little bit, so we started it for the sponsors to come out and have a good time, and it's kind of evolved through the years to be a little bit more competitive than that. And a lot of the people bring kind of ringers and put them on teams to try and win real bad, and we don't get the sponsors that we like to see out there kind of falling off their horses and tripping around, but it's a
That's
good
why you
time.
wanted me.
That's exactly right. We'd love to put you on a
I
horse.
understood that you had already actually volunteered to do this.
No, that actually is not true, Counselor. I
Really?
no, I can attest to
thought I had that in
If you have
writing
any
somewhere.
I'd
evidence
like to
that you can
object,
bring
Your
forward.
Honor. I think he's got a good point.
Yes, but luckily his hair covers it up.
Not anymore.
Kathy, tell me about your sponsors. We've been talking about sponsorships during the whole show. Can you name some of them for us?
Oh, I sure can.
Great.
We have a lot of locals. We have Associate Truckee Travel. We have the wagon train, we have the White Buffalo,
Porter Simon.
Porter
Don't blow it,
Simons,
Kathy, please.
Rusty Polly,
American Mail Center.
Mail Center.
Great, great, good.
You know what, we're really lucky. We have a really nice town, we have a lot of merchants, and a lot of private citizens that have been really kind and donated a lot to help us. So it's hard to name too many at this point, but we just really want to thank all of them, and they're from all walks of life.
The
Our
community
volunteers.
really does.
Yes, they
This
do.
is what
They
makes it
really
happen.
turn out.
Yeah. Well, let's talk a little bit about the rodeo itself. We have local sponsorship. Those are the people that really make it happen. What about the animals and animal safety? I know that sometimes people say, well, gee, rodeos seem to me to be a little old-fashioned, and don't the animals get hurt? And why don't you talk about that a little bit?
Well, we have a full-time vet on site at all times and an assistant. Rodeo stock is probably the best taken care of animals that exist. They work for about 8 seconds once a week, or maybe 2 or 3 times a week, but it's a total of about 8 seconds. And they're cared for, and proper stock needs to be in good shape, well fed, or they won't perform well. So they're very well taken care of, and we have people on site to make sure that happens, that the conditions that they're kept in and their feed is just perfect for them.
And from what I've seen, the folks involved in the rodeo, these people all love their animals. And this is,
Oh, you bet.
This is a passion of love and commitment to the animal as well as to the sport.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Pete, you're a horse owner?
I'm a horse owner.
How many?
2.
Uh-huh.
And one for me, one for my wife.
Okay. That evens it
What
out.
would you like to know about them?
Are any of them small enough for somebody like me to ride on?
My wife can get on them, so
Well,
yes,
okay.
let's say that you could get on. It would not be a problem.
All right. Well, we have a clip we're going to go out to now. We've got Ted out at MacIver Arena. He's going to talk to us about some of the events going on at the rodeo. So, Ted, why don't you show us what's going on out at MacIver?
Well, many of you have probably attended a rodeo before. Some may have participated in a rodeo, but many of you probably have not. So I thought we'd cover a little bit about what happens here and where it happens. Right over my shoulder here, you'll see where those white gates are. The judges' booths above, that's where the judges review the events. Those white gates are where the saddle bronc and bareback riding on horses and bull riding occur, come out of those gates and end up somewhere in here. And over here, off to our right, we have some other chutes, and that is where your calf roping event starts, your team roping event starts, bulldogging, which is steer wrestling, as well as the starting point for barrel racing. And I think our guests back in the studio could probably go into greater detail on the rules and what the judges are looking for, so we'll take it back to them right now.
Thanks, Ted. That was a great look at MacIver Arena, and we're back in the studio. And Ted mentioned a lot of different activities going on out there, pointed to a lot of different shoots, and it looks like it's just a handful of activities. How many different animals do you have participating in the rodeo?
Well, there's 7 events, 7 rodeo events, and we'll probably show there's slack, which is off time that there isn't enough time during the regular performance to show it, but they'll probably buck anywhere from 12 to 15 bulls, the same thing with broncs and saddle broncs. They'll have probably a dozen calf ropers, a dozen teams for team roping, probably 8 or 9 barrel racers. So there's a lot of stock involved, and that's for 2 days. So you've got to have enough stock to go for 2 days.
That's a lot of animals, a lot of people.
A lot of coordination.
That was my point. It sounds like it takes a lot of people just to keep it all together and keep it moving. But 26 years, and you've been very successful at
Yes.
it. Yeah. Barrel racing used to be one of my very favorite things to watch, and I don't know anything about horses and rodeos, but I sure know I like the barrel racing.
A lot of people do.
Keep an eye out for that. Big events that people can look for in the rodeo, bull riding?
Bull riding, always the most exciting if you're a fan. That's the one thing everybody can watch and get into.
And is that both days, or?
Both days.
Saturday and Sunday? Okay. Well, can people call a number to get a list of events going on at the rodeo, or is there a schedule of events they can call?
There is a schedule of events. It's coming out in our local paper that will be published. Also, feel free to call our rodeo line, which is 58.
that you can look for. You'll see the telephone number here. He's got some interviews with some of the riders. So let's see what Ted's up to. I understand he's surrounded by young women, which just doesn't surprise me one bit.
Welcome back. I'm standing here, and I hope I get this correct, with Lindsay, Alicia, and Glenda. And the two of you are with...
The Truckee Donner Junior Horsemen.
Okay, and you guys are a drill team, and you're going to keep everybody entertained at intermission and during the show?
Yeah.
Okay. You want to tell me about your friend that's eating my elbow?
This is my horse, Lady, and we'll be doing the drill team and hopefully grand entry together.
Okay, great. And what's your horse's name?
Her name's also Lady,
Well, that's interesting.
and she's also doing the drill team and grand entry, but she's in her late 20s. So she's
Really?
an old girl. She's still doing it all.
Oh, good. And Glenda, you're the rodeo queen this year, correct? And what's your mate's name there?
Usually it's called Sassy.
And when it's not called Sassy, what do you call it?
My shoer calls him Baldy because he says that he acts up because he's got a girl's name.
That was a good answer. This is a family show, so we probably didn't get into the real names. Well, good luck to you all, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks during the show. Thanks for stopping by.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll be back in a minute.
Thanks, Ted. That was great. You know, leave it to Ted to go out there and get nibbled on by a horse. But it looks like you've got some fun kids. It looks like they're having a good time. What are the different ages of people that are involved with the rodeo?
Well, participants are pretty much adults, but they start at probably 16, 17, some of the younger ones, but most of the participants in the rodeo are adults. And but we have events. The boot race will be on both days for kids. So all ages are out there.
So there's something for everybody out there.
Absolutely.
You bet.
It's-
Absolutely.
There will be food and entertainment, and it's just a great rodeo, so you should make a point of getting out there. But what about people that want to volunteer? Again, Kathy, they can call you.
Yes, please call, and we'd be glad for all the help. We would just love it.
Great. So if you're watching the show, you want to participate or at least help out in the rodeo, it'd be great to have you come out and be a part of this. I'd just like to thank all of my guests that were on today's show, and especially a big thanks to Ted out in the field doing his interviews. Or I hope he wasn't standing in anything untoward out there. But the Pollies, Carol and Rusty Polly, it was great having you on the show. Kathy McEnany, congratulations on your second year as chair, and especially on going off as chair.
Thank you.
And Pete Katita,
Thank you very much.
and thank you for sharing with us your beautiful craft work here.
you're
That's-
welcome.
That's amazing. It's really very nice. We will see you out at the MacIver Arena here in Truckee, August 12th, August 13th for the rodeo. Be there, and we'll see you next time on Truckee Talks.
It's Monday, 8 a.m., traffic jam, but you and I've got a better plan. Forget the daily grind, dollar signs, stress and life for deadlines. Let's live like millionaires today, laughing all the way to the bank of the river on the outskirts of town.
Hi, this is Wendy Martin here at Sand Harbor at the Lake Tahoe Shakespeare Festival. Just imagine relaxing on a white sand beach overlooking the incredible beauty of Lake Tahoe. The full moon is rising before you, and suddenly the stage comes alive with poetry, song, and laughter. If you've ever attended a performance here, I'm sure you've been awed by the majesty of it all. And this year, there's a brand new stage complete with state-of-the-art lighting and sound systems. Sam Folio, Executive Director of the Shakespeare Festival, was instrumental in the new stage. It was his dream and he made it reality. Let's go find Sam and talk to him about it. I'm here with Sam Folio, Executive Director of the Lake Tahoe Shakespeare Festival. We're here at beautiful Sand Harbor, and Sam, do you have anything you'd like to tell us about the new stage?
Well, I think people will be certainly surprised this year. This is our 28th year that we've done Lake Tahoe Shakespeare Festival. Although it has been in a variety of places around the lake, it's been 28 years here at Sand Harbor.
Wow.
In the past, the deck that we're standing on was a piece of plywood that was taken down, and each year was used again over at parks by putting it on a roof or using it as fence, taken back down and used again as stage. The dressing rooms were a series of tents that were behind the stage. Also, we had a porta potty. This year, I think we've made a few changes. We've got almost $2 million worth of facility here, which would include the stage we're standing on. That's made out of yellow Alaskan cedar. Wow. It's a third larger than the former stage, and also it has wings, which gives a place for the actors to come on and go off. And so it's almost like a real theater, and that's pretty neat. Also placed in the wings are lighting positions. So we have side lighting, and then throughout the bowl you'll see these beautiful towers. There are none like it in the world. They actually were fixed to match the trees here. We actually matched the collars to the tree, and they're powder coated, that brown. And on the towers, on the lighting towers, we have 139 Source 4 ETC lights, which are the state-of-the-art in lighting. Now, in the past, so you understand, we had only 40 lights, so we have 139 this year. We also have the EV X-ray sound equipment, and that equipment is the same equipment that the Stones used on tour, and 3 Broadway houses use it. And we have all the microphones to go with it, and I think people will certainly be able to hear this year as well as see. This sound equipment and lighting equipment was provided through a gracious grant by the E.I. Wiggins Foundation out of Reno. And we always appreciate any grants we can get. The lighting towers, there's over $100,000 worth of towers. The base of the towers, you'll see, is the same color of the sand, and we actually colored it that color so it would match the environment. There are miles of wires and data cords going to each station that would cover all the lights, and then it's all brought together by a sound booth. So we built about a $50,000 sound booth up there that has sound and light capabilities. But we also have that same capability to the side of the stage, so if we have a group that doesn't have someone to run their lights or sound, they can actually run it from the stage. So that makes it pretty neat. So now you've heard a lot about the technical end of it. The actors, for their creature comforts, we actually have dressing rooms now under where we're standing. There are dressing rooms, there are 2 bathrooms, there are showers, there's a handicapped dressing room, and there's an elevator for any handicap talent that we might have.
That's wonderful.
So this is quite a difference. I think what I've heard since our performances begun, that not only we've come to a new level, so hasn't the theater company. We've had just nothing but wonderful reviews about the plays that we're doing.
Yeah. I myself saw the opening night preview, and it was wonderful. I heard nothing but raves from the people in the audience as well. So, excellent job, excellent job.
Yeah, we're doing, it is a festival, so it's not just the plays. We're doing Much Ado About Nothing, and we're also doing Love's Labor's Lost. But on Saturdays and Sundays, we have a play for kids by kids. The Tahoe players are doing Much Ado About Alice, or Alice in Wonderland, and that's at 4 o'clock, and it's only $5, and that's that's kind of neat to have the kids to be able to use this theater. We also, starting on Monday, we will be having a children's camp, and that's for kids from 6 to 17, and that's pretty nice too, and it's run by the actors and directors, and that's day camp, and then they get to put on their play on Fridays right here. So they make their own costumes and make their own sets, and then come out and we see what they've done. So
are they children with specific stage background, or just anyone?
No, just anyone. We have, if they do have some stage background, we have different levels for them, so that we can not bore them, and we get them coming back year after year. So that's a pretty get signed.
Oh, that's wonderful.
The player and the whistle, they make a lovely pair. Play the fairy dance or the rising of the moon. The last farewell to Killarney. Hey, Shakespeare!
Ah, a wandering minstrel.